These next few slides, which I'll be ending on, I just want to give you a quick look at. This is the way state standards currently are. This is a typical state that has a set of inquiry standards and a set of content standards, and the teachers are told pick the appropriate inquiry standards you want to use, combine it with the content standard, and teach. And in some of our states, they say, well, we're going to double code these items, or we're going to assess these. But often what happens is they either assess them separately, which means there's an inquiry test item that has no context of content, or there's just a pure, which of the following is anaphase type question. Okay, you can go to the next one. So where the NGSS is different is I point out the content standard, and this is, again, that same state on the left, versus what you would see in a next generation science standard sample. Now, this is based on the May draft, and I will draw your attention to the bold letters. These are the verbs that are used. And typical state standards, we see distinguish, describe, describe, distinguish, distinguish, recognize, identify. Those are pretty low-level cognitive verbs. And distinguish between atoms and molecules is another one. So they have to be able to point to something that's just a circle and say, oh, that's an atom. Oh, that has several circles. It must be a molecule. Versus in the NGSS, where students are going to be required to construct and use models to explain, plan investigations to generate evidence, use a simulation or mechanical model to determine, construct an argument that explains. It's a very significant difference in the action the students are going to have to take to show proficiency in the standards, but also you can see that there's a difference in the richness of the content that's required. Again, we have a middle school student now that just has to know the difference between atoms and molecules, but they're going to have to, under the NGSS, construct a model that explains that the atoms combine to form new substances of varying complexity in terms of the number of atoms and repeating subunits. The richness of the content has also been greatly amplified. Okay, you can go to the next part. What I didn't mention quickly is there will be a second public review of the standards that will come out in mid-November. And our intent is to finish the standards and publish the final version sometime in the first quarter of 2013.